Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Welcome to BGP. In today's topic, we will be discussing the drug epidemic in the Black community. As we've learned recently over the last few weeks, we've lost quite a few people to drug overdoses. The week before last, there was 3 men that lost their lives in one night with another lady as well, due to like a fentanyl overdose. And a week after that, we lost Michael Williams, also drug overdose. Fentanyl was included as well as cocaine and heroin. So I think we should talk about it because it's not being discussed. Why are we turning to drugs? Why is fentanyl kind of taking over the drug community? And why are we overdosing? And why is it attacking mostly our Black men? I think we should talk about it, and that's what we're about to do today. So my first question is, I'm going to turn over to Adrianne, is what do you think about this overdosing issue that's going on in the Black community?
I think it's pretty sad. I think our community still needs so much education on drugs. And I think the way society deals with our issues is different than how they deal with it in the white community. For us, it's dealt with a criminal aspect, where for them, it's a health issue. And it's dealt with so differently. So for us, they go to jail, they're not getting treatment and things like that. They're not in recovery. They're not getting the help that's needed. They're not getting the education that they need. Where in another community, in the white community, they deal with it a little bit different. And I think if we focus on it and put a lot of emphasis on education and what these things do, because I had no clue until I looked up what fentanyl, the small amount, the tiniest amount that can kill you. Yep. That is scary.
It's very scary.
They even say that sometimes if you deal with it with a patch, because some people get it for a patch for pain, that you can't even touch it with your bare hands. You have to have gloves on because it just getting in your pores can cause a reaction. So I think there's so much education we need to do. People, for a lot of people, marijuana, alcohol is like a gateway drug to something else. They want to get higher and higher and higher. And not everybody, because I know some people can indulge in alcohol and be sensible and smoke weed and be okay. Mm-hmm. But we really need to know, even if you got to Google it, look up what's going on. I think some of these people are just not aware that the fentanyl is being placed in their drugs. So why are they now lacing it with that? It's just crazy. I don't know if it's to create a more addiction. So that means they can sell more. I mean, it makes sense, but it's crazy. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mona?
What was the question again?
What are your thoughts about the overdosing that's going on in the Black community? The drug overdose?
Well, first of all, fentanyl was not a drug that was used by Black people. It was a white person's drug. Fentanyl is a opioid, so it's a prescription medication. And because we really don't have health insurance, we don't get prescription drugs so often. And it was used for pain, severe pain. Like if you had a knee replacement surgery or a hip replacement, it's not something that you could just, go buy from the dude on the corner like you could buy a bag of weed. So we have a party culture that goes out and women want men to buy them drinks and they accept them and they slipping it into the drinks. Or I don't think anybody plans to overdose. Mm-mm. They're just getting high. And it used to be, honor amongst thieves or honor amongst the drug dealers, where drug dealers wanted the good drugs. Mm-hmm. they really wanted to keep their drug addicts alive so they can get their money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So fast forward till today, because really fentanyl was not thought of as a epidemic or a problem in the black community till around 2018. That's when they kind of massively found out about it. The hood, you know, been hitting it for a minute, you know. So, but the media just said, "Oh God, there's an epidemic in the black community." So, I lost my damn train of thought. But yeah, just like I said, you used to know where your drugs are coming from. They don't know where these drugs are coming from. You know, they knew that they were in China, and then China was shipping them to Mexico. And you don't know if you're snorting it, you don't know if your cocaine is cut with it. If you're smoking it, you don't know if your cocaine is in that rock. If you're shooting it, you don't know if it's in the heroin. If you're putting it in your mouth, you don't know what kind of pill it is. So why are black people drugging? They're depression, mental illness,
numbing the pain.
Trying to numb the pain, like they would do when they have take alcohol or they smoke weed, or you know, basically trying to have a good time or not face reality.
And I think it's like with anything else. If a little makes me feel good, a little bit more gonna make me feel better. And we don't have some people in that addictive behavior. They don't have a cutoff point. Right. They just want to keep going and keep going and keep going, and that's when that risky behavior comes about, and then they end up dead. You know, because you start trying different stuff, or they become more depressed, and instead of dealing with their mental illness issue, they're self-medicating with these drugs that unfortunately end up causing their life.
So here's what I know, or what I've researched and found out, that a lot of our marijuana products, not even just cocaine and whatnot, but marijuana products, a lot of it is being shipped from different countries, Mexico being one. And a lot of dealers, both private and professional or whatnot, they're lacing their drugs. They're cutting it with fentanyl. Now, the downfall about it is, like you mentioned earlier, just this much of fentanyl could kill you. So if you don't know that what you're smoking, whether it be weed, whether it be, you know, shooting with cocaine or whatever, has been laced with that on top of your already, you know, the drug of your choice, you don't realize it, but it can kill you. A lot of them say that the fentanyl not only cuts into it so that they don't have to use more product of the other drug of choice, but it also gives a high that a lot of their customers keep coming back for. So like when they talked about the how they found, I'm going to use the late Michael Williams as an example. When they found him or whatnot, and some of the drugs was by his body, he had cocaine, heroin, and they said another substance that wasn't identified, powdery substance, right? Wow. And they also said it was fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin and whatnot. All of that was in his system. Cocaine, heroin, okay, we know that. That's common. It happens. Fentanyl is why a lot of detectives in them are getting nervous, because more and more and more people are dropping because of how dangerous that drug is. Like, even there was a police officer on the news. It made its way like about a month ago. He was checking. He was doing kind of like a welfare check on a vehicle that had been there for a week. He opened the back of the truck, and if you see the video, he's opening the truck and he drops. He faints. Why? Wow. Because it was a whole box of fentanyl that it was open that was in the car. So luckily the other officer that was there was able to kind of like be there to, you know, keep doing it until the ambulance came. But just from inhaling it knocked him out and he was unconscious. Like he just fell. That's how dangerous having that particular ingredient in something or around you can kill you, and people don't understand that. So, and
it's not like they're over there measuring it and making sure they're only putting this amount. So that's scary.
And anytime cocaine used to be cut with baking
soda. Right.
Okay, so you cutting it with fentanyl, and fentanyl is said to be 50 to 100% more potent.
Correct.
than morphine. And it's similar to morphine. So Yeah.
And they say it's cheap to make.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so if you do a cocktail, alcohol, weed, cocaine, fentanyl,
Def
you're
true.
you're done.
You're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You're done. And so I kind of wanted to touch on what Mona mentioned earlier about the reasons why a lot of people kind of, turn to drugs or whatnot. And we were saying, depression, not really wanting to face reality, not really wanting to deal with whatever trauma that a person experiences. I know for the Michael Williams, he was saying that he had been sober for a long time, but then he was working on a show or a movie that kind of triggered the trauma. And so he turned back to that, his drugs of choice. And unfortunately, it took his life. I think that when it comes to our community, we have to be we really need to get more comfortable with the idea of therapy. Because a lot of us don't do it. A lot of us don't believe it. A lot of people would like to say, all you need to do is pray to Jesus and you'll be fine.
Right.
Instead of really encouraging someone to tackle whatever it is, whatever trauma it is they experience. Because if we don't, we're going to continue to see people turn to their drug or drugs of choice, especially if they have addictive personality, and accidentally overdose.
So sad. I think a lot of people don't realize that relapse is a part of recovery.
Yes.
No matter how long you could be, I know people that have been clean and sober for 25 years. And like you said, some traumatic incidents trigger something, a death, anything. And then they reach back to something that comforts them. And unfortunately, it might be that drug. And then they're back off on that road again. So I think that's why programs like NA, AA are so helpful for those who struggle in their addiction, to constantly have something on a weekly basis that they go to that helps them stay on track, or to have a sponsor that when they're feeling some kind of way, they can call them and say, hey, I'm feeling like I'm about to, and then those around you being respectful to the fact that that is an area that you struggle in and not be around. I see people all the time that they know somebody is an alcoholic and they drink, and I know we shouldn't have to change our lifestyle because of that person, but we do have to consider sometimes that that's hard for people. So, yeah.
I think also the pandemic.
Yes.
That caused loneliness and isolation.
Yes.
And so now you're self-medicated and drugging help to increase the amount of fentanyl that's in our community. I also think the environment of the rappers and in their music, drugs are trending, drugging is popular.
Cool.
Getting lit is popular. Turning up is popular.
Leaning.
So we're at the party. I pass you something you think is cool.
Yeah, true.
Now I'm flipped out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to cope differently.
Yes.
Party differently.
Yes.
As far as treatment is concerned, you kind of alluded to the fact that we don't get the insurance that covers the treatment. White people also get a drug that prevents relapse.
Right.
Black people get methadone,
Yes.
which is also another addictive drug.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the funds or the resources or the non-bias in the medical profession, you don't get the rehab treatment. You don't get the, what do you call it? Outhouse treatment.
Right. Exactly.
You don't get the assistance in getting jobs and assistance in getting whatever else that they get when they have that medical. And so it's going to be hard for you to recover. You don't get the AA meetings. That all has to be covered or under something. And we don't have medical like that.
Right.
So,
nor do we, sometimes I think we're afraid to reach out for resources.
Yes.
We're judged, or we're scared what people will think, or
Yes.
that for somebody to know that you struggle in that
Yes.
area. So we don't speak out about it, because there are some free resources out there, but we're too afraid to ask for it.
But
We
what
don't
I'm-
want nobody to know.
What I'm saying, there's a prejudice within the medical field that,
absolutely.
like you said earlier, they look at us as being criminals.
Yeah.
They don't want to treat us. They don't want us to help
Go
us
to jail.
get well.
Yes.
They send us straight to jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you know
it's
they're
more of
not
a
getting
profit.
treated.
It's a profit to be locked up
Right.
as opposed to treated.
Right.
I agree. I agree with that. I do. I definitely agree. But I also at some point in time, though, we do have to take ownership of ourselves and our decisions and our choices that we
True.
make. Like we said in the previous episode, there's consequences for every choice we make.
Absolutely.
Every choice. So if we want to sit there and use a drug of choice as our coping mechanism, then we have to be prepared that we can overdose. We can die right in there. We may not go home. We may not see our families ever again because we're deciding to, take that drug of choice to deal with our reality as opposed to actually dealing with the reality.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree there's medical bias. There's bias towards African Americans as a whole in the medical community. For them, for some strange reason, they think we're superhuman. We're superhumans. Like we don't feel pain, we don't
Right.
experience pain and whatnot. And they rather give us an addictive medication. They rather prescribe us with that, which then gets us to be addicted towards that particular medication that they're giving us. And we definitely need to do something about that. Like I'm processing what was just said when Mona said, but look at the rappers, like they promote it and they do. You got some rappers right now that have literally almost died from seizures from doing lean. Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
Rick Ross,
Yeah.
right? You had one rapper literally because he didn't want to get locked up because he was taking the drugs and he had it on his persons when they was on the plane. So he decided I'm gonna just take it,
Consume. Oh.
and he died. And he was only 21.
Yeah.
21, life gone just like that. So.
And here's the thing, when you have that celebrity status, you have people that enable you.
Yes.
They know that this is a problem for you, but they just push it to you because, okay, you're on their team. You don't want to, you want to be a part of this circle. And sadly, we do it even with regular folks. If you have a son or a daughter, you're not allowing them to reap the consequences of this. If it's jail time, if it's recovery, whatever it is that they need to do, instead we're coddling them or okay, if it's going to make you not act this way, let me go ahead and give that. So we have to be mindful when we have friends or relatives that are like that. They need to seek treatment, and we need to not interfere with that. We need to let them get the help that they need, because otherwise we're just prolonging the inevitable.
I agree.
I think we also have to stop cheering for negative role models.
Yes.
Like you say, the rappers, the singers, because the girls and the men are drugging too. Find some positive role models that are doing great things that they don't have to use drugs and alcohol. I don't even want to say drugs is a recreational
It's
or
not
social,
even right. Yeah.
a social thing that you do, because one little tap will take you out, and you never know what your tolerance is. Some people have higher tolerances than other people. Just shit, leave the drugs alone. Leave the drugs alone.
Yes,
live your life. They said that there is a increase in St. Louis, Philadelphia, Texas. Right here, I got the Center for Disease Control estimated more than 92,000 died of overdose in a 12-month period ending in November. The highest number ever recorded.
Yeah, got that same stat right here.
Yes.
That's sad. It's really sad.
Yes. So then it goes back to, I know there is a such thing as addictive personality, meaning that you do something one time and you find yourself addicted and you want more of it. I can deal with that with that group of people if that's the case. But then you have the other ones that succumb to peer pressure, or they're being encouraged, like Mona said, through your industry, right? Whether it's the rappers, the musicians, the actors and actresses who encourage it and tell you, like, they make it a song about it, like sipping on this scissor, right? They make it cool to do. Like, I was listening to a young rapper literally say, the reason why I started doing drugs is because I heard another rapper sing it. Another
Molly
rapper
Percocet.
encourage, encourage it. And so we definitely need to, we definitely need to change that, and speak more about it, and, just kind of leave that shit alone.
Exactly.
Leave it alone, because it's not
killing us.
it's not worth you dying for. Like, you leaving your family behind, and now they got to face this. And
I just often wonder what happened to the huge campaigns they used to have in schools and all these things where they were talking about drugs and educating kids on drugs. And every time you turn around, you see a commercial about it. You see every now and then about the vaping and things like that. But it just doesn't seem like they're talking about it as much as they used to. I don't know if it's because the pandemic has taken over and COVID and that's all you hear about. But it just don't seem like they talk about it as much as
They're
used
not
to.
going to talk about it. I used to tell my son to be aware of his surroundings.
Yes.
And look what's coming in the neighborhood. When you're in the black community, there's liquor stores
Yes.
and
Every
churches.
corner.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
When
Every
you're in the
corner.
white community, there are gyms, gun shops,
Health food stores.
And health food stores. Like,
Food stores, yeah.
and pharmacies, Rite Aid, Walgreens. Pharmaceuticals is the new drug.
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical drugs have taken over the streets.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of overdoses for cocaine and weed that the people on, and shoot, they're selling weed out here,
Go to the store.
like they're going to the store, but pharmaceuticals are big business. Remember,
Yes.
they were robbing pharmacies left and right. You can go out and you'll see a Rite Aid, a Walgreens, what's the other one called?
CVS.
CVS, all on catty corner on the corners, and not because they got some good water or because they got a sale
Filling
on
prescriptions,
detergent or
yes.
some nice 2-for-1 for some mascara. It's because that pharmacy is up in there.
Yeah.
And they're hitting those pharmacies, and they're taking those pills,
Yeah.
and they're selling them to people. Like I
Yeah.
said, those opioids.
Yeah.
I dang it. It's a painkiller.
Yes.
It's not for party, but you want to be.
Yeah, they
You want to
taking
be
it
out.
the high and low,
But
the
when you
uppers
think
and
about,
downers.
yeah, well, when you think about people who were smoking Sherm back in the day, that is a, what is it? It's a,
It's
embalming fluid.
It's
Yes.
embalming fluid.
It's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
when do we stop just taking any old thing? You know what I mean? It just is crazy.
Well, when
We
you
have
talk
to be-
about Sharm was kind of used to initiate the gang members.
Yeah,
to go out
right.
and do a drive-by. So they hit some Sharm. So
And then
they
they got
get
the
all pumped up.
crazy.
And yeah, and then if you hit too much, now you sitting up there like
a zombie.
I don't know.
Or humping
I
a
don't know.
tree or
I don't
running naked
know.
down the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kicking down trees and stuff. So yeah, drug culture is not supposed to be our culture.
It wasn't. It was not supposed to be. But it's slowly starting to. Because at first it used to be, especially when you would hear certain drugs, you'd be like, "Oh, that's white people shit."
Yeah,
That's
right.
white
Man,
people shit.
oh
Black
my
people
God.
don't do that. We smoke weed and we good.
Yeah, and
but
drink
now,
Hennessy.
smoke weed and drink. That was the thing. But now, like, I mean, when you look at those numbers and those statistics, and I know a lot of people be like, don't listen to statistics. They could be manipulated. True. But when you look at it and you start talking to family members and you start hearing them stories of, little so-and-so died, and yeah, they say it was a drug overdose. They found her with so-and-so, and yeah, they said it was a drug overdose. And it's getting younger and younger in the age range of them dropping. That is scary.
That is sad.
I worked right across the street yesterday in Lamar Park, and the men and the women are walking in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it took this young guy, and I'm just standing there looking at him, and I spoke to him, and it took him about 10 minutes to go from my end to your end, Adrianne. And my heart was breaking, and he was like, oh, ooh, oh, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's not just the men, it's
the women too.
too.
Yeah. Yes.
And you cannot let life beat you up so much that you resort to drugs.
Yes.
We all go through things. We all have issues. We all have trials and tribulations. We all get disappointment. But you got to pick yourself up, talk to somebody, resort to screaming, running, doing some exercise, dancing, calling a friend, anything but drugs.
Yes.
Because once you hit most of these addictive drugs, you're always trying to get back to that first high. And you're never going to get back to that first high. You're never going to get that euphoria or whatever feeling that you felt at the time. Because a lot of these drugs are mood inducing drugs. So whatever you were feeling today,
It's going to be amplified.
that's going to be amplified, and then tomorrow you're going to be happy, so you're going to be happier.
Yeah.
But what if you always take it on the down end of it? That causes you to deteriorate. Leave the drugs alone.
Yes.
Yeah. Because once the high is gone, the issue is still there.
Yes. Yes.
So you just continue to get high until you die?
Yes.
That rhymes.
Agreed.
You shout out to DS1 Ross when he says you have to heal before you build.
That's
You
Yes.
have to heal yourself. And it takes courage. It takes strength. It does not take being a drug addict. You're going to have to face your issues. You're going to have to put your big girl panties on. You're
Or
going to have to
big boy boxes.
Yeah,
big boy boxes
on.
on. You're going to have to move forward, not move backwards.
Right.
You're going to have to grow up, and you're going to have to face that stuff and stop. A lot of people drug because something traumatic happened to them in the past. Leave the past behind. I understand that things hurt you. I could sit up here and tell you right now, I've been fighting depression for 12 years. Nobody would never know it. I have cracked. I have bent. I have been 2 inches off the ground. I have been like, take me, Lord, I can't take it no more. They say that he won't give you more than you can take. Well, I don't know what you think I got, because I ain't got it no more. Just don't let me wake up again. I've been there. So I'm not trying to sit up here and say that I'm better than other people, that I cope better than other people. I'm just like, to hell with that. I want to live. I have a non-defeatist attitude. I get up and I reinvent myself every day. Yes, allow yourself to go through those emotions. If you got to cry, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Cry it out. Sock a wall. Go get you some boxing gloves. Shadow fight. I don't care what you have to do. You never let nothing, a little substance, consume you, overtake you, where you are not functioning as a human being. Get yourself together, get it right, reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid to say, I need help. Don't be afraid to say that I got some issues. Don't be afraid to say that I got problems. I can't do it by myself. That's one of the first steps to AA, admitting that you do not have what it is to do this alone. Get you some help. Get right. Live, love, laugh, enjoy yourself, but leave these drugs alone. These rappers are not really inducing all the drugs that they say that they are inducing.
True.
You have a handful that are addicted. But they're selling you something that they're not even using themselves, because that's how they're making their money.
Yep. They're selling you a lie. A lot of them that say what they're ingesting, I laugh because I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't do that, because if you did, you'd be dead. You did not do that amount. No, you didn't.
It's no way that you could be functioning.
You'd be dead right now
Yeah.
if you did. So stop
Yeah.
lying. But the younger people who don't understand don't know
know.
that. So they just be like, well, if he said it, let me try it because it must be cool. Or she say that, it must be cool. And it's not. And I'm rolling into final thoughts though. But and we have to do better. We really have to do better. I think more discussions like this need to be had. I think we need to own up to, we have to stop running away from whatever happened yesteryear and face it, so that we don't have to turn to our drug or drugs of choice to try to cope. We have to learn to be like Mona said, if you're going to, get help, go to AA. The first step is admitting I got a problem. I have a problem and I really want to get help for it. I really need somebody to hear me and help me so that I can get past this, because if not, your only other option is death. And I don't think you want that. And I don't think your families would want that. We need you here. We need more Black men and women here working together to succeed for our communities, as opposed to just burying you. Like that's just, we got to do better, Black people. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Adrianne?
I think at the end of the day, we need to be quicker to help than to talk about people. I think that's what a lot of times people run away from asking for help and looking and seeking assistance because they are scared of what's going to be said, or that their mama's going to find out, or that their family is going to talk about them. At the end of the day, we all have issues, much like Mona shared. We all have suffered with something, childhood traumas that may cause us to feel some kind of way, where we need to get to the point where we can find different coping skills, whether it be exercise, whether it be whatever the case may be. Find something else that you run to help you get through a situation other than drugs, because we're dying fast, and we need to educate our children at an early age, talk to them about that, not to, allow people to influence them to do these crazy things, especially these rappers. Like you said, they're not doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, seek the help that you need. And don't be afraid.
Yeah.
There's always going to be drug addicts in our community, just like it is in any other community. However, for the people that are struggling, know that you're not the only one that has a addictive personality, or that you're going through something. Stop doing things that are trendy just to fit in. Mm-hmm. You know, I just never understood how somebody could see somebody take a drug. Oh, my God. I couldn't understand how somebody could see somebody take a drug, and you pass the drug and that person falls out, and they be like, oh, God, that's the bomb. Let me have it. Mm-hmm. You know, let me hit something. Let me see if it's going to knock me out. You got something got to be wrong with you.
Yeah.
Hey. Leave the drugs alone. That's all I got to say. Find something else more constructive to do. Get a hobby. You know, that's all I have to say.
All right, you guys. We encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Leave comments and your thoughts on our particular episodes. And if you feel like there's a topic that we should discuss, feel free to reach out to us. We're open. And that's it. BGP.
All right.
We out. Bye.